Hello, my health freedom loving friends. Misty Carlfeld here with Health Freedom Idaho, and I am here with Kristine. She is with P.O.W.E.R, and P.O.W.E.R stands for Parent Objectives with Essential Rights. She's doing a lot of work helping parents that have had their children taken or threatened to be taken by CPS. And this is a new organization in Idaho. She tried to get a bill brought last year and then even the year before to help regarding medical kidnapping in Idaho. She's an experienced parent and she's doing really great things. And she's got a court case that we need to get you updated on. Kristine, thank you so much for joining today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, you are a powerhouse, you know?
I couldn't be doing it without support from you and everybody else that has, supported me. It has been 6 years now since this whole thing has started. So,
Well, you even said at the time, you said, they've picked the wrong mama bear. And, here's the thing is that I've helped so many parents that have been abused by CPS. And so many parents say that and then do absolutely nothing.
yeah.
And there's no judgment there because they're already scarred, right?
Mhm.
After they've been through the ringer with CPS, they're afraid that CPS is going to come back. Like no judgment there at all.
Yeah.
But you, on the other hand, you were like, yes, I am actually going to come back and sue you and bring lawsuits and form an organization, and we're going to help save kids. And you've
Yeah.
really done it and you're doing it. So my hat's off to you, friend, because
Thank
so many people just can't push past the pain after being, ruined by CPS.
Yeah, that and I think it's really hard if you have kids that are not majority age now. If they've
Yeah.
got younger kids. I only have one and he will be 21 this year. So, at the time when this took place, he was only 15. But as time went on, he became majority age, and you know, it didn't. It wasn't. They weren't scaring me, anymore. They couldn't touch him. We all knew that, and so yeah,
Yeah. Yep. You're right. I know you felt like it was fair game once he turned 18 and you were ready to rock and roll. And
yeah,
probably I would imagine it took your family that amount of time anyway to sort of heal and recover and bond and all
yeah,
those things that CPS utterly destroys. So the timing I think was really divine. It
yeah.
was
It
really.
was. Yeah.
So, okay, so we have an update now on your case. There's an order here. Let me share my screen. It's
Yes.
the Supreme Court of the state of Idaho Supreme Court. Okay, let's get this on the screen so people can see it. Okay, so tell us what we're looking at.
So this is the order from the ISC, so Idaho Supreme Court, ordering me to pay the defendant's attorneys and courts fees for bringing my case to the court for the wrongful separation of my son. And so they are ordering me for Dr. Jennifer King, who was with St. Al's. She was the doctor who saw my son for 20 minutes, never saw him before in her life, and decided there was a CPS issue and called CPS. So now I have to pay her fees in a court attorney fees, $31,861.50. The other one is against Amy Barton, who is St. Luke's Cares doctor. That is the child abuse screening doctor who apparently felt that the flu is child abuse. So, there's a big issue there. If we have child abuse doctors who can't decipher flu from actual abuse, I think we have a very big issue there. That order is to pay $30,173.85. The social worker who was there at the time of separation, Teresa Torres, $16,682.50. And then the detective, Aaron Pond from Nampa PD, and Sherry Dodge, who's the Canyon County deputy prosecuting attorney, $172.50.
Okay, so essentially they're saying that you owe all of this money for
Mm-hmm.
bringing the case against these people for wrongfully taking your son, right?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll be quite honest, it feels like extortion. I mean, I don't know how else to express how I feel about it. And that's a US violation under 18. I think it's 873 or something like that. But I mean, first they kidnapped my son, which is also a type of extortion. and I'll be very descriptive about it, it's medical kidnapping, and now they want me to pay more money. I've already paid for the 2 years supervised probation that I had to take a plea deal on just to get my son home. I've already paid that. And now to try and file a lawsuit and have it be heard and have wrongs be righted, now I have to pay them again. That just and the thing is they know that they did wrong. They know it. There's no way they don't know it. And they keep doing it. I've had an attorney tell me, that they are trying to do it just to kind of shut me down so that I don't take it to US Supreme Court. Well, I am taking it to US Supreme Court and I have every legal right to. So we will just see what they have to say about it. My attorneys, he finds that the whole thing is deeply troubling. The attacks on regular people who are simply raising concerns about government overreach. It's a malicious nature in this order, and which, by the way, it's not legally justified either. There is clear authority which prohibits the awarding of attorney fees against plaintiffs in civil rights claims unless the merits of the claims are brought within bad faith. But there's nothing in the ISC, the Idaho Supreme Court opinion, that finds that there was no merit to my claims. And in fact, the court purposely avoided that whole entire issue or any of the issues that we brought. Instead, they found some unsupported procedural basis for denying the whole appeal. So it's just, it's very troubling that we didn't get to even bring it to trial to have it be heard.
Right. And if anybody's wondering what that case was about or what that looked like, and even the decision, we went over that. So we have other videos that you can watch to understand Kristine's case that she brought and the Supreme Court's decision not to hear it, which was a giant disappointment. The people of Idaho need the Supreme Court to take this on.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah. The people of Idaho need the Supreme Court to take this on. I don't know if we need this Supreme Court, this Idaho Supreme Court to take it on. They don't seem to be making very good decisions lately. And then now we see even this decision where they're now penalizing you for daring to bring the suit, right? How in the world can an Idaho parent who's had their child taken wrongfully and been totally abused, like Kristine's been abused, and then try to seek remedy in the court system and then to be penalized for doing so? It's just disgusting.
Well, they say that it doesn't have a 1983 action with it, but it absolutely is. And in a 1983 action in a lawsuit like this, you cannot have the plaintiffs have to pay the defendant's fees. You just don't. Idaho, I'll say this, Mike, because my attorneys have told me this, and it's all public knowledge if you Google search it. Idaho has been fined in the past for this such thing, not necessarily for it being a CPS case, but for trying to put those court fees and such onto the plaintiff when they had a 1983 case. You can't do that. It's illegal. So there's actually laws that prevent that from happening.
Okay, so what's the course of action? What's the next step?
Right. So we're visiting another avenue. We started to do this when we wrote the amending complaint that was brought forth to ISC, the Idaho Supreme Court. So, which is we're going after the statute laws. There's a procedure in a federal statute that allows us to write a writ of mandamus. So mostly these are filed under habeas corpuses, which is a statute that is in place that allows someone to challenge the restrictions of or government action that restrict their freedoms. And this is the only way that we can effectively address the issues that we're having. The writ will be filed directly with the United States Supreme Court. In my case alone, there's over 160 allegations and at least 12 counts. So my case is fairly large, but there are others that have the same issues, same or similar issues. So with this, it will allow us to put together a concise and straightforward petition challenging the constitutionality of the CPS statute system as it is, in which it's spaciously unconstitutional. We all know this. And I have standing to do this, to bring this to the US Supreme Court. I made sure all my T's were crossed and my I's were dotted.
And the spine. And the spine. Let's not forget. You have standing and the spine to do it.
Yeah, yeah. So the writ of mandamus, along with the 1983 action, allows for other plaintiffs to join. Okay, so I want to make sure that everybody understands this. So this is similar to a class action. My attorney is certified to do this as well. So there's no number that is some magical number that you need to bring. Like in a regular class action, you need 30 to 40 people to join in, but we don't need that in this type of writ.
Okay.
So similar medical kidnapping issues, common issues and such that can be national, even international, can come in as plaintiffs as well. And they would be considered declaratory relief. So they would be showing support and saying, hey, the law needs to be changed because it's wrong and this is why. Organizations won't receive a financial award for it, but myself and other plaintiffs who would join with me would receive it should we win, which
Great.
is in our attention too.
Great. Great. So
So
how many parents do you have in so far?
I have a handful right now, and more are continuing to contact me. I just had a couple contact me 2 days ago, so they'll be in touch with my attorney with that as well. Um,
And if they're
well, we,
interested in joining, what do they need to do in order to kind of be screened to see if they're a good fit?
So basically, right through my attorney, will oversee everybody and make sure that it's a good fit. But if they come through me first because they're more comfortable, because attorneys, they can be, intimidating. It's a big thing. And if you have younger ones that, aren't of majority age of 18 yet, then, I understand there's security feelings there. But, we can walk you through all of that stuff. And they are based out of Idaho Falls in Idaho. And I'll tell you, he is really well versed in this, and he is not afraid to go before the US Supreme Court. So he's not afraid to do it again.
Great.
So we are going after the attorney fees. We're going to file a separate writ, and that's going to be regarding the attorney fees. And we're also going to put a move to stay of enforcement, which means that hopefully they'll put like a stay on it, which means I won't have to pay this case is heard. Idaho Supreme Court, in their opinion, they stated that my lawsuit was frivolous, and it absolutely is not.
Yeah.
So we're going to challenge the constitutionality of the Idaho statutes. And then when the United States Supreme Court sends in their response, their reply of this, we can attach it to the writ of mandamus. Our next course of action, and it's coming up real quick. We need to have the writ for the attorneys. You have 90 days from the date of that order, which the date of the order I think was November 9th of 23. So we have till February 7th, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. That'll be going in. And then we have the writ of mandamus. We're aiming to have that turned in sometime in March, before the end of March.
Okay. I'm guessing this is costing money. Are you asking for support?
Yes, I am. It is costly. And, my attorneys, they understand what's happening. They understand what I've already had to pay to get this far. And now putting that order on top of it does not help at all. It's tough. It's not easy. But I have very understanding attorneys who are willing to have me make payment plans with them to keep this going. They have big hearts, and they are continuing to move forward with it. So if, there's anybody that is willing to help, it very graciously acceptable to my attorneys to keep this going, because they have to pay attorney court cost fees and things like that to have all this stuff put together and sent in.
Yeah. And I guess we
Having
want
filings in the US Supreme Court is much different than having filings in Idaho Supreme Court.
I would just say to any parents out there that feel that they can be a part of this case, definitely look into that, right? Pray about it,
Right.
talk to Nathan about it, talk to Kristine about it. I think the more names on there, the better. Um,
Absolutely. Mhm.
Secondly, if you're a parent that doesn't feel like, your kids are young and you're not feeling that is the right thing for you and your family to do, see if you can help support her financially, because she's taking all the burden here for Idaho parents,
Mhm.
right? We need to financially support. And to the rest of the parents out there that haven't been affected by CPS yet, this is where you can invest your money and your prayers, is in this case, and with Kristine, who's willing to shoulder this case all the way to the Supreme Court, and also her attorneys. So we need to keep them in our prayers and help fund this also. because they are obviously are trying to shut this down and teach Kristine a lesson along with all the other Idaho parents that you best not try to do something or find a remedy if CPS takes your children and destroys your family. And we just can't tolerate that. We just can't stand by and tolerate that in Idaho.
No.
You're amazing. You continue to amaze me, and you're doing such great work. I know it's a big, heavy burden that you're carrying
It's a
for
lot.
all of us.
It is not easy. That none of this is easy. It is very tough. But I don't know, there's something inside me that's saying, no, you know what? There needs to be justice for this. This is not just happening to me. This is happening to so many other parents. 2 days ago, I got a call from parents up in P.O.W.E.R that it's happening to them.
Yeah.
And, they are beside themselves. They had no idea, that this could happen. And
No.
they took their teenage son in because he had a stomach bug. It was so similar to mine. It's sick that this could happen. It's so disturbing.
Well, I hope everybody does what they can to support prayers financially, all in joining in the lawsuit. We need all the support we can get. And I think coming alongside my friend Kristine and helping to shoulder this with her. Bye, friends.